State and city health departments are monitoring for Marburg virus after an outbreak in Rwanda. Marburg virus is a rare but serious illness similar to the Ebola virus disease. It can spread through contact with infected people or animals. Travelers arriving from Rwanda will be screened at JFK Airport. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have issued a level 3 travel alert to Rwanda. Level 4 is the highest, but health officials say there is a low risk of Marburg virus disease in the U.S.
But the wicked are like the troubled sea when it cannot rest, whose waters cast up mire and dirt. There is no peace, saith the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, to the wicked. Isaiah chapter 57 and verse 20 and 21. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakha Kwadash. Double honors to our venerable apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, so Brother Aharon, coming back at you with another lesson, Lord willing to be edifying and uplifting unto the elect. All right, and I have an article here that I want to go into. All right, and today's date is January the 30th, 2025. All right, and there's a lot going on. All right, there's a whole lot going on, but I wanted to jump on this real quick. Being that we're about to enter into the month of February, all right, I believe through the Spirit that they're about to start their train roll, all right, of so-called alarms, right, which are going to be all false flags and so on and so forth, because we're in a stage where I believe through the Spirit that they're using the help of AI, all right, to speed up their agenda. All right, what do I mean by that is ultimately their end goal is to have a so-called New World Order, right, which is something that they've had in the works for years, going all the way back to 1776 and prior. Okay, but it was officially, stamped and approved and kicked into motion, at least in a practice form throughout the world, started by this man called Adam Weishaupt, all right, from Germany, all right, Ingolstadt, Germany. All right, and he formed this whole thing known as the Illuminati that people know today, and so on and so forth, secret society, which is already in the scriptures, right? The secret council of the wicked, and so on and so forth. And we're at the stage where for years they've tried, or they've done many different things to topple governments and create confusion, all in the sense of, or the efforts of pushing people into a certain corner, ultimately for them to have power over all mankind, all right, and all of creation, and so on and so forth. All right, but over the years, you've had propaganda, you've had wars, you've had diseases, you've had all kinds of different things that's going on. All right, and all those things count, in the steps that leads to humanity being put in a situation where now they have no choice but to seek for help. Okay, so-called SOS, right? Being in an emergency situation, now you're looking for help, and none other than Esau is going to come in and say he's going to offer you the help. Okay, but for so long, they weren't able to fully, all right, push that until the innovation of AI. Okay, because you always had that population or a group of people, that always had that anonymity, all right, that became a thorn in their side. Okay, so they didn't really know who's doing what, saying what, but there's information going out that goes against their agenda and their narrative. Okay, so now they say, oh yeah, we're just gonna call it conspiracy theories. We're gonna call it anti-Semitic speech. We're gonna call it hate speech. They try to demonize the truth. But now with AI, right, people are openly sharing information that they would have otherwise had to have other means to get that kind of information. We're talking private information. All right, we're talking about things that people think about. Your private, most intimate thoughts, okay, being shared through your handheld devices, your computers, television screens, and so on and so forth, right? You know, if you have social media, the kind of things you post on your social media, all these things are collected as a form of data and are grouped up and kind of like sifted and grouped in a way that it gives them an idea of the mindset in which humanity is in right now. You know, and what makes them tick, what makes people react a certain way. All these different things, they've used AI to accelerate getting the results that they would have taken 20, 30, 40, 50 years to achieve. Okay, so at this point right now, with how they're shifting everything into the digital, that's because they're very confident that people are at a degree at a disadvantage, all right, to the reality of what they're doing, that they can just come out right and just do it. See? So they can come out and openly tell you that, yes, we are the ones behind all your problems. And so you have to allow us to give you the solutions. If not, the problems are going to get worse, right? They can come out and say that. And when you expose them for what they're saying and what they're doing, you're deemed a so-called conspiracy theorist and so on and so forth. Okay? And as like I said, for years, they've been doing this. But now we've reached a point where they don't have that much time in terms of years to keep on pushing with these silly little narratives, man. So now they got to come in full-fledged, full force. And that's why they put Trump in there. Okay? Trump is in there to further their agenda to so-called close out the next 5 years or this decade, all right, in a fashion where they would have accomplished so much more than they would have, you know, if there wasn't the help of AI, you know. And ultimately, that's all fulfilling biblical prophecy, right? We're in those days where we see mad earthquakes. I believe a couple of days ago there was an earthquake out here in the northeast. Okay, several states, you know, felt it. You know, it wasn't anything major, you know, but it was enough for it to be observed, right? You've had wars, right? Wars, rumors of wars, all these basic things that Yahushua mentioned, not basic, but things that Yahushua mentioned that will be happening that we should look out for, all right, in these last days. Those things are happening, you know? Famines, right? I was listening to the news the other day, and they're saying that out there in India, you can expect a huge famine very soon, which is gonna kill off millions of people out there. Okay, because I believe India has the second highest population, followed by China. I mean, China followed by India. Right? I believe India is about 1 billion or so, maybe more, maybe less, and China is about 2 billion or so, something like that, right? So they're saying that the rice, right, basmati rice, and all these different things, the farmers are having a hard time growing it because the soil that they use to grow the rice, right, has become salty. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like seawater. You know, so it's affecting their ability to grow their rice. Which if you miss out on one season to grow rice and you miss out on another season, you're not going to recover for another 2-3 years, is what they're saying. You know, that's that kind of impact that gap of not producing grains will cause. You know, and that's going to affect the whole entire world. You know, and it's not just that; it's many different places in Latin America where a lot of the products are being shipped up here and also into Europe and different parts of the world. They're also going through their famines and stuff like that. Okay, so don't be fooled by Trump coming in and doing all these different things that he's doing. Anyway, let me get into this article here. This is all going into biblical prophecy, and we're going to focus more on pestilences, right? And let's see if Esau is going to use his typical prime reaction solution to bring about this the next step of his agenda. All right. It says new outbreak of eye bleeding virus with 90% mortality rate raises alarm among world experts. Okay. It says here a recent outbreak of a viral infection resembling Ebola, specifically the Marburg virus, has resulted in the deaths of 9 individuals as reported by global health authorities. This highly lethal pathogen has infected a total of 10 individuals in Tanzania, right, which is in Africa, with the outbreak officially announced by the Tanzanian government last week. This highly lethal pathogen has infected a total of 10 individuals. Or read that, what the hell? All right. The mortality rate associated with this virus is alarmingly high at approximately 90%. The affected cases have been documented in the Kagera region, located in northwestern Tanzania, which has a population nearing 3 million inhabitants. Okay, so it's not that big. 3 million compared to the rest of the world is nothing. Okay, but that's a lot of people. 3 million. Okay, it says given the accessibility of the region throughout the country's primary international airport in Dar es Salaam, and its creativity via train, there is considerably considerable concern that the virus may disseminate beyond the immediate area. In other words, they're letting you know that it will spread. That's a fancy way of saying it's going to spread. Okay, and it's going to go throughout the whole entire globe. All right, so we could see Tanzania might just be an experiment to see how this thing is going to affect people. You know, a mortality rate of 90%. Damn, that's no joke. That's no joke. All right. It says Ngashi Ngongo, representing the Africa Center for Disease Control, the CDC. They happen to have their own CDC out there, which is interesting, right? It's crazy. Stated during an online briefing that efforts are being made in collaboration with the World Health Organization, the WHO, to mitigate the impact of the outbreak. So it's interesting how the CDC is over there, right? Center for Disease Control, right? And you where they are is exactly where this whole thing tends to happen. They just they just find themselves in places where there's always some form of outbreak or disease or some shit like that. You know, it's very, very, very interesting and mysterious at the same time. All right. And they give their reports. No other individual or private anything or anyone. It's just the CDC is the one who it's just been accepted. You know, it says that word again, have identified approximately 281 individuals who had contact with the 10 confirmed cases. You see that? Contact tracing. And these individuals are currently under close observation for any signs of infection. See? According to MSN, a total of 31 tests have been conducted regarding the current situation, with 2 confirmed cases and 29 negative results, according to Ngongo. But you see, the problem comes in when you start doing those tests. See, that's when they start running the numbers, because everybody's testing. They just say, oh, this person got this person tested for this. And it's just going to keep on running a whole thing. You know? It says, as for now, there are no Vanessas or treatments available for the Marburg virus. That's done by design. Okay, if it's wiping out 90% of the population, then, you know, they don't have to really explain anything. You know, they don't have to say, oh, we got to give you a Vanessa to help you live. People getting wiped out, you know? It says, which means that medical professionals are primarily focused on providing support to help patients survive the infection. This situation places health workers at a heightened risk of exposure to the virus, which is known to cause severe symptoms, including bleeding from the eyes. That's crazy. There's a disease that people actually start bleeding from their eyes. Now, they call it Marburg or whatever. But ultimately, you know, I believe through the spirit that the first go around jump shot that they gave was more like a layer, like a coat, right? And now the next round is going to be the one that really does that damage that we've been waiting for. You know, people dropping dead left and right. You know, you want to talk about sudden death? That documentary that came out a couple years ago, yeah, that's nothing compared to what's about to happen soon. You know, I believe there's a movie on that. Forget the name at the moment, but there's a movie where something gets switched and all of a sudden people just start dropping left and right. You got cars crashing into each other, right? People in the elevator, they just drop dead right there. Somebody's coming down the stairs, the next person is going up the stairs, they collide, boom, drop dead. You know, people are all laid out in the streets everywhere. You don't see not even one person standing still. Like, it's just everyone is wiped out, man. Something like that could happen. Okay, something like that could happen. It says Marburg is classified as a hemorrhagic fever characterized by damage to organs and blood vessels, leading to internal bleeding as well as bleeding from the eyes, mouth, and ears. Damn. Shit. So the virus can be transmitted through direct contact with the body fluids of an infected individual, contaminated objects, or infected wild animals. Infected wild animals. You just go hang out with infected wild animals so you could be directly in contact with them, and then they could transmit it to you. Like, why would they even put that in there? It says initial transmission to humans from often occurs after prolonged exposure to mines or caves that are home to fruit bats. Symptoms of Marburg appear suddenly and can include intense headaches, fever, diarrhea, abdominal pain, and vomiting. That's crazy. These are things that people go through all the time. It's crazy. They give you a whole bunch of regular let me see something. Yeah, regular symptoms to it could be anything, and then they say, oh, that's Marburg. So now when people start catching headaches and fevers and all kinds of stuff, abdominal pain and vomiting, because they probably turn on the 5G or some shit, whatever they're gonna do, they're gonna explain it away and say, oh, look, you got to get tested for Marburg. These symptoms tend to escalate the severity over time. It says in the early stages of Marburg hemorrhagic fever, it can be challenging to differentiate it from other tropical diseases such as Ebola and malaria. Okay. Yeah. So let's it's very interesting. See, I was going to tie it into something else, but I think I'll save that for another lesson, because this is strictly all about this whole concept of this Marburg stuff, right? And I believe through the spirit that, Trump talking about, he's pulling America out of the Who Dat treaty and all this extra shit. Well, you're kind of not doing that, because you're surrounded by a whole bunch of pro-technocratic world, so to speak. So, if you have that kind of direction going on where people around you are all pro-tech and, that kind of shit, and they're all billionaires and all kinds of stuff, guess what? They're going to be the ones around you to say, hey, give us the power to, administer certain pharmacia pharmaceuticals, right, to the people. See what I'm saying? Instead of going through who that, we're going to do it on our own. We're going to have our own thing going on, and you're going to see. Trump is flip-flopping left and right. You're going to see, man, when he starts turning on the people, and he will. Okay, he already started when he put a freeze on the federal funds and all that. I believe the Supreme Court had pushed back on it or rescinded it or something like that. I think I heard something like that. But it goes to show you, within his first couple of weeks, he's just out here just wilding out. Okay, a week and a half, he's wilding out. Why? Because these executive orders must be signed in during the honeymoon stage. Because once it starts sinking in and the reality starts sinking and people start noticing, like, yo, this motherfucker was supposed to do this and do that, and none of the stuff that he said he was going to do is happening. He said, oh, if you don't end the war, within 24 hours of him becoming president, he's going to end the Ukraine-Russia war. What happened? What happened? I think yesterday I heard they said that they're sending more aid out to Ukraine. So what are we doing here, man? And people still believe this shit. Trump is going to come and change the system, and Kash Patel is going to do this, and Tulsi Gabbard is going to do this. No. They're all part of the plan. All right? They all work and answer to the J's. Okay? They all work and answer to the J's, man. Okay? That includes Donald J. Trump. as our friend Professor Klaus Shaw would say, right? But yeah, man, I just wanted to bring this out real quick, right? Just to give you a heads up that we've been saying it, this guy, something Redfield, I forget, he's a doctor, and he was formerly part of the CDC. He was talking about the next one is going to be the Marburg, virus. That's the next one they're going to use as a propaganda tool to push people into the newer order agenda. So we'll see. We're here, we're seeing it, we're hearing about it. 90% fatality rate. People going to be bleeding from the eyes and all that. Well, we'll see. We'll see how February comes out. And February, typically, they always got some bullshit going on against Jake. Because it's so-called Black History Month. It's the shortest month of the year. So Esau always be mocking Jake with some crazy weirdo shit. So Trump already started with the Northern Kingdom. I wouldn't be surprised if they start some bullshit with the Southern Kingdom in the month of February, which kind of boils things into March and April. Okay, we're talking a severe division. I mean, we're talking like never before. Division that leads to chaos known as a civil war. All right. I could see it all happening, man. We see it all happening. Lord willing, all right, speed up. Speed up, man. Speed up. All right. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it off there. Lord willing, you're edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Racha Kodash, the water Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai. Until next time, Shalom.